Okay, you're on.
So I just want to say as a hakdama to tonight, and if we continue to this series, in this Sefer Tfuna on the hakdama, the introduction to the Kabbalah, the Ben Ish Chai, you may remember this, I've said this before, but it's very important for me. The Ben Ish Chai tells a story, maybe it's another story, that a man wrote to him saying he wanted to give classes on the Eitz Chaim, and he'd been through the Eitz Chaim 3 times, and he'd like to give a class on it, and he'd asked for the Ben Ish Chai's approbation, haskama. So the Ben Ish Chai tells a story of an admiral in Portugal who was apparently the greatest seafaring admiral in the world at his time, and he traveled all over the world, very famous seagoing captain, but he had not been blessed with children. He didn't have any children. His wife, more than anything else, wanted a child, and eventually they were blessed. They had a little boy. So when the boy's only a little toddler, 3 years old, the wife says to her husband, I want him to be like you. I want him to be a great sea captain, great seafaring man, travel the whole world. So the admiral says, well, that's very nice. A little 3-year-old boy can hardly walk. So the wife says, I don't care. I want him to be an admiral, a sailor, great sea captain. So what can I do? So they go upstairs. The admiral says, all right. So they get a bathtub and they fill it with water. And then he gets like a little matchbox and he puts a matchstick in the matchbox and takes a little bit of paper and he makes a little sail out of it. And they put the matchbox on the water and they push the water a little bit. And the matchbox sails, and then they get a little kid and they teach him to blow on the water and splash the water, and the little matchbox sails away. And the wife is so happy because her little boy is now like a great admiral, like husband. So that's the mashal that the Ben Ish Chai gives to the man who wants to give classes on the Eitz Chaim. So here we're also going to splash a little matchbox in the water and see where we can go. The series is on what is called the Tikunei HaZohar. Tikunei HaZohar, the Rash says in this context, the word tikkun is a very, the word with a lot of, we see all the time. Here, it's not the usual understanding. He says Tikunei HaZohar really means it's like a tamsit. It's like a concise, much of it is a concise version of what's in the Zohar. And it's a rather separate book from the Zohar. The Sulam did not write that we see a parish on the Tikunei HaZohar, but I saw that Rabbi Brandwein Sal has a set of perushim on the Tikunei HaZohar, which he calls Malot HaZohar, and B'ezrat Hashem I'll be able to get one, so I'll be able to refer to that as well. But there are a number of commentaries. The Gur has a commentary on it, and in the modern commentaries, the Matok Midrash has a very thorough commentary, but I principally wanted to use a commentary which is called Ber Lachai Ro'ai, which is a pasuk. We remember when Hagar runs away from Sarah the first time, so she, the Malach, an angel of the Almighty, appears to her, and she called the the name of the Almighty who spoke to her. Atakel Ro'i, you are the God. Ro'i, there it probably means a vision. And then the angel says, Al Kain Korah Be'er Be'er Lechai Ro'ai, which means the well of the living one who appears to me. Be'er Lechai Ro'ai is the well of the spring of the living one who appears to me, and that is the name that of the commentary. Now, the commentary is written by Rav Tzvi Hirsch Shapiro, who's the Munkat Rabbi, very famous leader of the Hasidim called Munkat, from Munkat, but he's also the Mechaber, the author of a Sefer which is called Darchei Tshuva, which is a very important halachic perush on Yoreh De'ah. So not only was he a Kumbah, but he was a very great halachic writer. Okay, so we'll start. It starts off, Rabbi Shimon, as it lay, Ba'ak le'midbar delur. So Rabbi Shimon went off, and then he ran away, and he hid to the midbar of Lud. So we know the story. The Romans were after him to kill him, and he fled. Then he fled further to the desert in Lud, or the wilderness of Lud, and Ve'it Ganis B'chad Marta, and there he hid in a cave. Who Rabbi Elazar Bria, and he and Rabbi Elazar his son. It Charish Nisan, and this happened. V'napik lahon chad charuv, and a carob tree came up for them. V'chad ma'ina d'ma, and also a spring of water within the cave. V'achlu mahu charuv, and they ate from that charuv, the carob tree. V'shatu mehima, and they drank from that water, and they were there, 13 years. So the Perush, the Rabbi tells us, this whole story is mafarish in the Gemara, in Shabbos, and also we'll see refers to another place in Zohar. And he says the reason why this happened. Why did Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai have to run away and hide in a cave? Because he was a nitzut, he was a spark of Moshe Rabbeinu over Shimon. And in the same way that Moshe Rabbeinu fled from the sword of Paro, and he achieved his shleimus, his completeness, in the midbar. We know he ran and he was in the midbar. So also Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai fled from before the Kiza, the prince of the Emperor of Rome, to a cave in the midbar of Lud, and there he achieved his shleimus. So there's a parallel between Moshe Rabbeinu and Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, because Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai is what's called a nitzutz, which is a spark of Moshe Rabbeinu. We'll learn, please God, as we go through a little more what it means that it's a spark. Okay. So he and his son run from the Romans and flee, and they come to a cave, and they have a miracle. They have a tree which sustains them in water, and one of the commentators says that this tree, which is a Rachel tree, on Erev Shabbos, it turned into a tree. I remember a big tree, because they asked, how did he manage to have meals on Shabbos? He had to have 3 meals on Shabbos. So there's a Gemara that says, just let me find the place. There's a Gemara that says that I don't know if it's a fig or a date. I think it's a fig. It's like sustains like bread. So therefore, you're able to bench, for example, and you can have a full meal. So it turned on Shabbos, they were able to have a full meal. That's a side question. Okay, so the Tikunei HaZohar continues, and it says, V'havi Eliyahu zichron lebracha, ati lahon b'chol yoma treizim v'yolef lam. And Eliyahu, blessed memory, interesting, it says a blessed memory. There's some say, well, Eliyahu never died. But here, the Zohar says a blessed memory. Blessed memory came to them every day, twice a day. Twice a day, and he taught them. Below Yada Inish Bachua, no one knew anything about it. And this is all, the Tikunei explained that this is in the Zohar Chadash, in Parshas Tavo, it's all written there. V'dai Itkui Tikunei HaZohar, and this book which we're going to learn, this Sefer which we're going to learn, is called Tikunei HaZohar. Ve'inun shivin unfinished, and they are 70 unfinished branches, faces of the Torah. The parish Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, which Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai explained, V'milas Bereshis, of the word Bereshis, Misitrei Elisa, from the secrets of the Torah. So the Tikunei HaZohar itself consists of 70 different Perushim, all on the word Bereshis. We'll break up the word as we go through. Form different words, and there'll be 70 Perushim just on this one word, Bereshis. However, before that, we get to that, there are two, one is very long, one is short, two hakdamas, two introductions, which we will go through, and these introductions will form very much the basis of what we're able to learn, to understand about the actual Tikkunim himself. I haven't quite decided whether I'm going to do this, but I may break the class in half and do half the class on the Tikkunim, and then the second half we'll begin on the Hakdama, on the introduction. The second half I might start to do the Tikkunim, so we'll have a little taste of what the actual Perushim of the Revelations are. So that's an introduction. It wasn't written by Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. It tells a story of the beginning of how it came to be, that he ran away from the Romans, he hid with his son, and Eliyahu Navi visited twice a day, so it's and a lot of learning, 13 years, twice a day. And from this teaching will come the Zohar itself, and also this Sefer, which is called Tikunei HaZohar. So the Sefer starts with a pasuk from Daniel, right at the end of Daniel, the book of Daniel. I'm talking about the future. The pasuk says, "V'hamaskilim yizharu kazohar l'kiyah." That the maskilim will shine like the Zohar of the Kia. That's why the book is called, the Zohar is called the Zohar. This is the Tikunei HaZohar. From that pasuk, and the pasuk talks about the maskilim who shine like the Zohar of the Wicked. We have to understand what it means, the maskilim, and then the word that I translate as shine is yazhiru, which is the same word as the Zohar, will shine out like the Zohar, like the illumination of the Wicked. So maskilim comes from the word seichel, right? So seichel really means the intelligence, the intellect. The maskilim, we could translate it paradoxically in modern he modern terms the masculine were the people who rejected the Torah and went away from the Torah, beginning of the 18th, 19th century. But really, they call themselves the masculine because they consider themselves the intelligentsia. So that's also related to the word intelligence. But the seichel is to do with intelligence, intellect. So the masculians, in the simple understanding, we'll see a bit deeper, are the ones of great intelligence, right? So in the book of Daniel, the prophet, at the end of days, the masculine, those who have great intellect and great intelligence, will shine out, will illuminate, will give out radiance, like the radiance of the illumination of the Rikias. So we have to understand what's the Rikia. We'll see the Rikia, we see the Rikia right at the beginning of Bereshit, but if it doesn't make it very clear what it means, the Almighty said that there be a Rikia between the waters, and it will separate between water and water. So it would seem that the word Rikia, although they translate it to firmament, well, I don't know what the word firmament means, so it doesn't help me to translate it to firmament, is a separation of some kind. The Rikia gives the idea of a separation, because there's a higher world and a lower world. And the Rikia is the separation, let's say, although there are numbers of Rikiyas, but simply speaking, a Rikia is a separation between the higher world and the lower world. So therefore, the Maskilim are in a higher place because they will be shining out in the Rikia, in the firmament, like the Zohar, like the light that illuminates the world. And what we understand, we'll understand, and we'll understand more as we go. The Rav Shapiro says that what we are learning at the beginning, the opening, is what Moshe Rabbeinu tells what he heard in the Mativta de Rikia. The Mativta is the yeshiva. So in this place, this separation, where there's a higher world and a lower world, there's a yeshiva. And that yeshiva, really there's a high yeshiva and a low yeshiva. We see somewhere else that in the higher world there are numbers of yeshivas. All the rabbis have their own yeshiva. There's a yeshiva of Rabbi Akiva. So yeshiva's Rabbi Akiva is that there's a yeshiva in the higher world of Rabbi Akiva, and in this world there's a yeshiva. So he heard, Moshe Rabbeinu heard in the yeshiva in the Rikia of the wonders of Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai and Eliyahu, and all the, well, this is in the future, of course, and all the chevra. Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai has a chevra, collection of students. And he heard of the great wonders, and this is what he heard. So Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai asked. So he says, Hamaskilim, these maskilim, these men of great intellect, Alim Rabbi Shimon v'chavre, and they are Rabbi Shimon and his chabur, his group of students. So we see right through the Zohar. Yazhiru, what does it mean, Yazhiru, that they shine forth? What does it mean that they shine forth? So it says like this. When they come together, when they came together, the Mavid HaKibur to write this book that we're going to learn. When they came together to write this book, Rishute Ityahev Elohim, permission was given to them from the heaven, the Eliyahu Imahon, and also permission was given to Eliyahu the Navi to be with them. Ulakol Nishmotin Dimitivtan, and all the neshamas, it says the language of Rabbi, all the neshamas of the yeshivas. That's to say the neshamas in the higher world and the neshamas of those who are learning in the lower world. So permission is given to Rabbi Shimon and his Chabor and Eliyahu, and they are joined with the neshamas who come from the higher world and the neshamas who come from the Shiva in the lower world. The Nachta B'nehu, that these neshamas are given permission to sit, to rest among them, to come down and to be with Rabbi Shimon and Eliyahu and Rabbi Shimon's Chabor. And also, L'chal Malachia and all the angels, the Itkasye, who are hidden, U'ba'orech Seichel, in the way of Seichel. What does that mean? That means that we can see things. Normally we see things. So we don't see the light. The light reveals things to us. So we see with our eyes things that appear in the world. But there's another kind of seeing, right? I saw the light. Someone sees something. So that's a sikhli. That's an intellectual seeing. It's not a seeing with the chush, with the senses. Normally, sight is one of the senses, right? Sight, touch, smell, all this. But there is a seeing which is not with the senses, but is with the intellect. I don't want to use a technical term at the moment. With the intellect, it says seichel. The word says seichel. So we're saying that's an intellect. So it says that those angels were also there. They were also coming, but they were not seen in a physical sense. They were seen in an intellectual sense. So we now have a gathering of Rabbi Shimon and his Chabor and Eliyahu Navi and the neshamas from the high yeshiva and the neshamas from the lower yeshiva. And these angels are not seen, they cannot be perceived with our senses, but in an intellectual way they can be attained. And now they are all coming together to write this book. But Alat al-Kula and the one who is above everything, which is the Kadosh Baruch Hu, which is in his aspect. And so who is the Alat al-Kula, he is above everything. Yahed V'shula Kol Shemahon Kedusha. He now gives Rishus permission to all the holy names. There are holy names. In the halacha, we have names that are not allowed to be crossed out or rubbed out, right? You're not allowed to, the chok, you're not allowed to rub out holy names. And they are, usually say there are 10 of those, that they relate to the 10 spirit. We'll see as we go on that the number 10 and the 10 spirit are very central to our study, and they relate to these holy names, and permission is given to the holy names. What does that mean? That means that the names have an aspect. They're not just names. The names themselves are the quality. I don't want to say thing because we're talking about physicality. But the names are not just names of something else. The names themselves are whatever the name is. Unlike in our world, if you call someone Chaim, so there's a Chaim, a physical or a spiritual being called Chaim, and we call him the name Chaim. But in the world that we're talking about in the harbor, the name is not separate from or a description of something. It is itself the thing, right? If you understand what I'm saying. So therefore, the permission is given to these names. It says that these holy names, and it says also V'kol Havayan, and Havayan means the highest name. Let's say is the name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, right? Which is the divine name. Say Yud-Kei Vav-Kei because we want to separate ourselves from saying the name which we're not allowed to say. So that name, which is a very high revelation of the Almighty, as we'll go on, we'll understand that the Almighty reveals aspects in the world, and at the very highest level, those aspects which he reveals are through his divine name. Yud-Kei-Vav-Kei reveals the Almighty, the hidden Almighty reveals, so to speak, himself through various aspects through names at the highest level. And the divine name Yud-Kei-Vav-Kei can be spelt. In the Kabbalah, we learn that it's spelt out because you take the Yud and you spell that Yud Vav Dalet, right? And you spell out the Hey. You can spell it three ways. We said Hey Yud, Hey Hey, Hey Aleph, and the Vav could be spelled Vav, Vav, just Vav, Vav, Aleph, Vav, Yud Aleph, Vav. So the divine names can be spelt in different ways, and in the different ways they have different numbers, and as we go on they will see that they represent different aspects in the vast complexity of the revelation of the Almighty in the world. Part of that is through these names, and therefore the names themselves, in the same way that I said that the different names, Yud-Kei-Vav-Kei and Elohim, etc., represent different aspects which are revealed. So also the divine name represented. So also permission is now given from the very highest level to these divine names and different ways of writing the divine name Yud-Kei-Vav-Kei. V'kol Kinuim, and all the names by which the Almighty is known. Now the Perush will explain Kinuim. Chanon, the Almighty is called Chanon. Chanon is mercy, gives Chay, or Rachamim, right? We call him Rachamim, we call him Chanon. So he says, we know that there are 13, we say very often in Vidui, we say that Hashem, Hashem, Melech Racham, Melech Melech Hapam, Chesed, all these are called Kinuim. That means descriptions. That means that the Almighty reveals himself in the name of Rachamim, love. He reveals himself in the name of Chanon, of mercy. And that's where that quality comes into the world. It comes into the world, that quality of love or the quality of mercy and all these other 13 qualities come into the world through the different aspects of the name. It's not that a thing happens, we give it a name. The name produces exactly the happening of the thing. So therefore, permission is also given to all these names. So we have permission in the highest given to all these names. The Galelon Razin Maturin to reveal to us hidden secrets. Sorry. It's the names that we are given permission they gave permission to reveal to us hidden secrets. Why are they given permission? Because these hidden secrets come from way up there. That's where they come from, right? So they're way up above in the highest world. And I want to explain a little bit here. They use the word razin, a secret. And we see very often the word sod, which is a secret. I want you to, I said to my friend the other day, a secret, what's a secret? A secret is something that we didn't know until we were told. But now we're told, because if we weren't told, we wouldn't know what on earth it is. So a secret is something which you can't find out. You can't, this is really the whole basis of the Kabbalah. And it's revealed knowledge. You couldn't figure it out. You could sit there all your lifetime and you could never figure it out. It's revealed to us, and so once the secret is revealed, so it was permission was given to them to reveal all these hidden secrets. Kol Shem V'Dragadile, every name at its level. So again, the parish explains that here. What does it mean? Every name according to its level. He says that everyone is capable of achieving or attaining a level in which he can have revealed to him secrets. Ruach HaKodesh, right? We see that in the Silat Yeshar, that it's possible for a person to attain a level in which secrets are revealed to him. Great, wondrous secrets. You all have that. That's inspiration, right? Inspiration. But it's level. So not everyone is going to experience the level of the secrets that were revealed to Moshe Rabbeinu or to Rabbi Akiva or to Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. But everyone is able to, if he works on himself, studies Torah and his midos and the good deeds, etc., he can reach a level in which secrets are revealed. Everyone according to their level. And this is what's happening now, that all of this whole wonderful collection of angels and spirits and neshamas and Eliyahu and Rabbi Shimon, these secrets are going to be revealed to them according to the level of each one. And permission is given to the 10 spirit, to the 10 Sefirot, Legale Lord Razin Tamirin, to reveal to us secrets, to lo Yitahe Bashu Legale Lord, which is not given permission to reveal us Ada Isi Da de Malka Mashiach until the generation of the King of the Mashiach, the King Mashiach. The 10 Sefirot, so we'll talk about the 10 Sefirot. The 10 Sefirot, as we've tried to understand, is that the Almighty, in his Hanhaga way he runs the world, he does it through various qualities, various midas. For example, we're in now a period of the Omer, Sefirot HaOmer. I said today, Sefirot HaOmer is interesting. You could say, why is it called Sefirot HaOmer? Because it is about the Sefirot. We are 7 weeks. The Sefirot is generally divided. It can be divided in numbers of ways, but generally have the top 3 which are hidden above the world in which we live most of the time, and then there are 7 lower ones. So the 7 weeks represent, not represent, in each week of the 7 weeks between Pesach and Shavuos, there dominates a midah. One of these 7 qualities dominates that week. This week we are in the midah of the sphere of Bur. The second week is the midah of Bur. Bur Rabbi Kaplan defines restraint. Usually it means, we could say it means law and rule, law and order. Strength as well. That's interesting, it's a female aspect. So that aspect is the aspect through which the Almighty expresses the conduct of the world this week, whether you're aware of it or not. That depends on our sensitivity. But that is the aspect through which the Almighty rules the world this week. And every sphere has in it all the other spheres. Right? The sphere of Gevurah, which we're in now, well, and the terms that we're involved in, each 7 days of the week also represents a sphere. So within the general, the cloud of the sphere of Gevurah, which dominates this week, we have the first day where we have Chesed of Gevurah, and we have the second day, which is Gevurah of Gevurah. The third day, yesterday was the day that just finished, was Tiferet. Now in Netzach of Gevurah, so I'm not going to try to pretend that I could explain to you what all these aspects are, but there are aspects, there are qualities, and they dominate the time, and therefore the permission was given to these Sefirot to reveal to us hidden secrets, and this permission was not given to reveal until comes the generation of Malcha Mashiach, the Mashiach. So it could be that the Zohar and these secrets that were revealed to Rabbi Shimon and his Gevurah and these other higher spirits who come together to write this book was then hidden. It was generally understood that it was hidden. It was handed down individual to individual. Maybe it was printed, written. It may not even have been written until the time of Moshe Leon, which was the 13th century, something like that. And it probably may have been handed down verbally, or there was a written copy. We don't know these things. But in general, it was knowledge that was not generally known among the Jewish people. And furthermore, after the debacle of Shabbatai Tzvi, it was, the rabbis were very careful to make sure it wasn't generally known, because it can lead to disastrous results on the one hand, or someone who doesn't understand it or thinks they understand it. So it was more or less hidden. But since we are, according to most opinions, entering into the time of Mashiach and the Geulah, whether at the beginning or the middle or where I'm not going to get into, but most rabbis will agree, and Lord, and others who follow him. And today, it's generally understood, you can't close your eyes. The book of Devarim, combined one part, has 10 parshas. So the Vilna Gaon says that those 10 parshas represent the 10 centuries, the 1000 years of the 6,000 year, the period of the 6,000th year that we're now living in. That's this time. And each parsha represents a prophecy, a nevuah of one of those 100 years. So the time we're living in now, if you line up the parshas, is Parsha Nitzavim, which is the parsha of Tshuva. Right, Tshuva right through it. The three main, it says about the people of Israel, Bnei Yisrael, doing Tshuva 3 times. I heard from Rabbi Rotman, should be well, that there's 3 kinds of Tshuva. three different aspects, not kind, three different aspects of tshuva that we're living in now. One is the tshuva to Yiddishkeit, to mitzvahs. Now, time, we know that people are returning to do mitzvahs. It's tremendous. Secondly, we have the tshuva to the study of Torah. There's a tremendous, you can't go anywhere that people are learning Daf Yomi, whatever. There's a tremendous increase. The third is the tshuva, the return to Eretz Yisrael. So we are living in that time. We are very privileged to live in. So that, in a way, you could say is the generation of Mashiach. Of course, I could say every generation is the generation of Mashiach, because we have to believe that it's going to come any day, right? But I think more than that, in a deeper sense, many, many people hold that this is the time in which this knowledge, which was secret, was revealed at one time to Rabbi Shimon and his colleagues, and was hidden, has now to be revealed, and that's what it's telling. These secrets were hidden, and it was not given permission to reveal them until we come to the generation of the Melech Mashiach, which is now, which is why there's a tremendous promulgation of literature on the Zohar, the Sulam, and the Kabbalah, and so on, and which is why in whatever way we can, in a humble way, by learning about this, we are allowing that which is revealed in these holy books to be spread and promulgated. Okay, so that's really like the introduction, and now the Hakdama starts, and it wants to explain a little bit about, or not a little bit, it wants to explain the verse. It says, Zohar Halakir. Like the Zohar, the illumination, the brightness of the Rakir. De'ihu Kalil Kol Gavan. For that includes every, simply speaking, we could translate Gavan as color. That includes this brightness that is in the Rakir, includes every color. What do you mean it includes every color? Well, color is a very interesting phenomenon, right? We can speculate. I like to speculate that what I call devolution, that everything starts from a higher source, and as it comes down, it particularizes and breaks up. But this is clearly seen in light, right? Pure light breaks up. They prove it with prisms, etc. And it breaks up into colors. So that means somehow the colors are contained in the light, right? Where they come from, they're contained in the light, but you don't see them in light. Well, we don't see that, but whatever we see, we don't see the colors, but light contains. So therefore, the Zohar, the Rakir, is talking, I believe, at that place where the light which comes from above, which is like a single light, now separates and is distinguished into how many? 10. We have 10 Sefirot, and you see again that one breaks up into 10. So the Tikunei HaZohar, the Hakdama, tells us, what does it mean, Zohar Rakir? That means it includes every color, and they're now going to list all these colors. The first one, they're going to list one, and each one will be related to a Sefirot. Zohar Tamir V'Ganiz. Zohar, which is the light, which is Tamir, means hidden, and Ganiz, another language for hidden away. They don't mean, they don't, when often in Hebrew we'll use two words or more words which apparently have the same meaning, but it's not repetition. Each one has a different aspect to it. So first of all, they say that this refers to the sphere of Keter, which is the highest sphere, which is hidden from us. We don't know, we can't see it. Sometimes it'll come out in a letter, in the little yud, kuts of the yud, not the letter yud itself, but the little kuts in the yud. So it's hidden. And we will see as we go on that in addition to the aspect of spheros, so also as the Almighty reveals and forms the worlds, the highest level, he reveals through what are called partsufim. Partsufim means face. In modern Hebrew, we usually talk about the face, but it also means a little more than the face, the whole personality. So it means in the higher world, we're going to have a kind of a family, and like a grandfather and a father and a mother and a son and a daughter. We'll see that this kind of divine family, if you like, will dominate our understanding of the evolution and how the world is revealed to certainly in the higher world. So in that case, Keter is also in the parts of the highest parts of, which is called Erech Ampin, which is the old long face representing the grandfather, actually has two aspects, one more hidden than the other. Atik Yomim, the elder of days, we call, and so maybe one of them, Tamir, is hidden very much, and Gani is like put away in store, right? You put something beneath it, which you put in store. So it's stored away. There's a difference between something which is hidden or Tamir or locked up. You're maybe never going to see that, or not for a long time. And Ganis, which is something in a store, maybe you're going to bring it out sometime. It's like in a note. So therefore, this highest light, which is in the Zohar, which is Tamir Uganis, it's hidden and locked away, and it's also stored away. Perhaps it's two aspects, but that's the highest one, which is called Keter. Then we have Zohar Bahir Bashachakim. So this is the next sphere going down, which is called Chokmah. And that gives tremendous light. Bahir is another word for light. And many words we have for light in Hebrew. And Bahir is also a name of one of the earliest works in the Kabbalah. Probably was before precedes the Zohar. And that's in the Shchakim, which is one of the areas in the heavens, one of the high heavens there. So that's the midah, that's the sphere of Chochmah. Zahir de Zarek Netzutzin, Mahabik Kabarak the Ain, the eyes. The next one is Zohar, which is the brightness, which throws sparks and shines, another word for light. Bahit is shining, kabarak, like lightning to the eyes. That's the sphere of Bina. It throws out sparks because Chochmah is also to a large extent hidden or unattainable by ourselves. I think that language begins at Bina. Rabbi Kaplan again, he says Chachma is undistinguished, undifferentiated. Sorry, undifferentiated wisdom. I think that what he means when he says undifferentiated wisdom is since it's above language, because language, you said this afternoon, man is defined as a medaber, the one who speaks. So language comes into the world, into our world at a certain level. There are things which are higher than language. since they're higher by the language, by definition, we can't talk about them, because you can't talk about something without language, and if it's above language, you can't. So Bina, which has to do with building, comes from the word to build, to differentiate, is like throwing out sparks, right? Because now you have language, so you can talk, you can communicate, you can throw things out. So that's why this third Zohar is throwing out sparks and is shining like lightning in the eye. The next one is Zohar Zahir Chavora Kasihira, the Zohar which shines out white like the moon. White like the moon. So that will be the next one down, which is Chesed. This is the first of the 7 low ones. Chesed. Chesed is love, and white, which is pure quality of the light of whiteness, is related to Chesed. And it's related to the moon. The moon. I'm not going to go into all this imagery now. As we go through, we'll learn a little bit more about it each time. But so the next one down, which is Chesed, is the light of the moon. The next one down the Chihuahua says that it says like the moon, because even though it shines forth light and is white and is so bright, nevertheless you can look at it. You can look at the moon, right? The moon, it's possible to see the moon and look at the moon. So also Chesed has that quality, to be able to look at it and see. The next one, Zohar Zahir Sumka Kamadim, is like red. The next light, we're going as the light is broken up, right, as it comes down through the spheres. So the next one is red like Mardim. Mardim is Mars, I believe, and Mardim is like fire, right? Which is din, and blood. The star, which is called Mardim, which I believe it relates to Mars, is also like a sign of blood, which is red, and din, which is law and rules, and sometimes you can have harsh din. Din is not always harsh. Law is not always harsh. It's order. The world is created through. We have to have order. But it can have this quality that it becomes harsh and hard, like fire, which is also red, like blood, and this quality of it. And so that is the next one down is Sumka red, and that's called Ruah. And the next one, Zaha Mabhik Khalil Yeroka Kachama. And this is Tiferet, the next one down. Tiferet, I think Tiferet really means spiritual beauty. I would define Tiferet as spiritual beauty. It has to do with Torah. Torah, I think, is the source of Tiferet. So here it says the next one, which is Tiferet, shines. It uses a word Yeroka, which is green, but in the next one, it's going to call Yorok, which is also. I'm not sure if Yeroka. We're not quite sure whether that's green or a kind of a blue. It says because the quality of Tiferet is mixed from red and white equally, and that is like the sun. because the sun apparently is mixed with two, not a physicist, but apparently the sun, according to Zohar, has mixed with red and white. It's true. We see that in our senses, right? The sun is always depicted as red, but at the same time, it shines out light, which is white in a sense. So therefore, the sun represents the fair, which is the central sphere, which represents an equal balance of white and red. So that's the next one. And Zohar, Yarok, so that's like the word Yaroka, but Yaroka is the green maybe, and Yarok, in the system of the astronomy of the Kabbalah. So we have, there's not, Kochav, although Kochav means the stars, there's one star which is called Kochav, which is related to Netzach, and that's green. Zohar Kalir Chava V'Somek, and the next one is a Zohar which contains both white and red, and Zohar Zahir L'Kol Ibo Kaman D'Macha B'Patish V'Zorik Shpivin L'Kol Sitra, and then we have Zohar, which it says it contains all of the colors. And it's like someone who hits something with a hammer and throws out sparks in every direction. So this is the ninth sphere, which is called Yesod. And it lights, it gives shines, it passes, the light comes out in all directions, as if it's hitting with a hammer on a stone, and sparks fly out in all directions. That's Yesod, because Yesod, which is the one way that we relate to the Sefirot is also in relation to the body. You know, Moshe, an example. I'm not going to talk about the three in the head, the higher form in the head. We have three higher aspects in the head, in the brain. Then we have Chesed, which is the right arm, and Gvura, which is the left arm, and Tiferes, which is like the torso. We divide it through the what's it called? The thing that divides the upper part of the body with the lower part of the body, but that's really like the torso. Then we'll have Netzach, is like in the form of a man, is the right leg, and Hod is the left leg, and Yesod is the male organ. So the male organ will also, it germinates, right? The seed comes from the Yesod. So the seed, so the Zohar, in the Zohar, the Yesod will throw out seed in all directions, and it hits because it combines with the Malchus, which is the 10th arm, which is the female aspect, and when the male combines with the female to form a unity, there's like a flow, a hitting together. So that's why here it says that the Zohar is like which is represents the Yesod, it strikes and hits in all directions. So there, it's also really it's part of the introduction that it's explaining in ways which are very deep what it means that the masculine are shining out in the Zohar, so in the Rakia. That means that that's where the single light is breaking up. And it's breaking up into all these different patterns and all these different colors, which will have all these different effects, and from which we will see as we progress that that is where the worlds that we know and the worlds that we do not know will come from that point. I think perhaps that's a good point to stop, and let's continue next week.
Okay. This edition has